Asia is on the brink. Explosive signals from Washington, Tel Aviv, and Tehran. A US strike on Iran is possible soon. US media reports that US President Donald Trump has reviewed a strike timeline. Top security officials say Pentagon is ready. No final order yet, but troop repositioning has begun, a pre-strike move to limit Iranian retaliation. There is a massive US military surge. The world's largest aircraft carrier, USS Gerald R fort, is racing towards the Mediterranean, joining another US carrier already in the Arabian Sea. Two floating strike platforms are tightening the ring around Iran. Over 50 fighter jets deployed in 24 hours. More than 170 cargo flights carrying weapons and high-tech systems reached Gulf bases. Satellite images show Tehran preparing for impact. Iran has sealed nuclear tunnels. Underground construction is accelerating. Clear signs that Tehran expects a strike. Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei has issued a direct warning to Washington, a post showing a sunken USS Gerald R fort, claiming Iranian weapons are more dangerous than a warship.
با چه زبانی باید بگیم که ما به دنبال سلاح هسته‌ای نیستیم؟
We are not seeking nuclear weapons, but we will not abandon our peaceful nuclear program. We are ready for verification.
ایران سلاح هسته‌ای نداشته باشه، ما آماده ایم هر گونه راستی آزمایی رو خواستن با همدیگه داشته باشیم.
Israel has also shifted to maximum war readiness. Highest level alert declared, Arrow, David Sling, Iron Dome, all anti-missile defense system activated. Prime Minister Netanyahu held multiple closed-door security meetings. Diplomacy collapsing. Militaries mobilizing. One decision in Washington could trigger the next big West Asia war. Bureau Report, India Today.
So is this part of the US gunboat diplomacy? Quite like Otto von Bismarck, use the military hardware, position it, and then coerce the adversary into negotiations. But do keep in mind, Iran this time has made it very clear. They want dialogue, they want peace, but should there be a strike, they will strike back and hard. And this time, they will not hold back. They'll use their latest weapons, including their supersonic missiles and their hypersonic missiles. Is that the reason why the Americans are also withdrawing and repositioning some of their troops in the region? Let me quickly cut across and bring in India Today's Pranay Upadhyay for more on the story. So, Pranay, Pentagon saying operationally they're ready. All they're waiting for is an instruction from the White House. Now, is President Trump this time looking at an opportunity to strike, or is peace still being given a chance? Will there be more negotiations over the next 24 to 48 hours?
While the United States is engaging with Iran in diplomatic negotiations, the military positioning and military posturing is very aggressive, Gaurav, as you can make out that in last 1 week, around 50 US military tankers, KC-135, have been moved to the Middle East and especially the Gulf region, the Gulf bases of the United States. And also, if United States have decided to move two of its aircraft carrier in the CENTCOM region, definitely this is being perceived and considered as a very aggressive posture. So definitely, President Donald Trump seems to be moving ahead with his maximum pressure policy on Iran. Having said that, recently they had 2 rounds of, Oman mediated deliberations with Iran. There are indications, and also there is an aggressive posture by Iran from Iran as well. So this is a very precarious and a very volatile situation that while both countries are engaging into diplomatic dialogue and conversation with each other, but there is an aggressive posture from the US side, and as well as the way IRGC has conducted live fire drill in Strait of Hormuz, and in last many years. For the first time, Iran actually demonstrated how they can close the Strait of Hormuz. And in fact, there are ships of Russia as well as of China in the region for the joint military exercise with Iran. So clearly, the entire Gulf of Persia and Gulf of Oman are turning out into a very tense battlefield. And if you count the military platforms placed by all these countries, and especially the aircraft carriers and the kind of exercise, the kind of the visuals coming out from the CENTCOM region, clearly the F-18s, F-16s, and F-22s are taking sorties in the region. Besides that, the tactical and
In fact,
strategic aircrafts.
this time
have
you have the
moved.
Russians and the Chinese who are sending out a counter message to the Americans that it's not that the state of play is very fluid and they're standing with Iran. So Iran is not isolated with Russian ships and Chinese ships in these waters. So is that also a reason why the Americans will weigh all their options very closely? Because even in the Gulf countries, most Gulf partners want dialogue, want negotiations and not conflict. And if the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, it impacts global economy.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Around 30% or over almost 40% of the oil trade passes through. In fact, countries like India, countries like China have their own energy interest in the region. If the Gulf of Hormuz if Iran tries and close that, this is going to choke the global oil supply. It has its own ramification. Besides that, the Gulf countries, the major oil producer countries, have their own concern regarding the oil prices in the region. So this is going to be a big disruptor. But definitely, United States is weighing all the options. But will there be a direct engagement? If Russia and China try and intervene or try and side with Iran, that is going to be a very very volatile and a very difficult situation. So we do not know as yet, but definitely the military option is on the table of US President Donald Trump, and we have seen in the past as well that you will recall, Gaurav, that during April and May also US engaged in dialogue with Iran. But they ended up conducting a military strike because, this time, recent meeting of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Washington, D.C., therein they discussed the Iran situation. Iran want U.S. to take military strike against the missile capabilities of Iran
Israel,
and
yes.
the complete denuclearization of Iran, as well as the missile cap to be implemented on the Iran's capability. So these are the things which US and Israel are trying to enforce, and obviously Iran.
And that's a strict no-go. That's a strict no-go area for Iran. Iran has made it very clear there is no question of capping the range of their ballistic missiles. And this time, what could be critical, Iran has the newer generation missiles, capabilities to make them, capabilities to use them, the supersonic missiles, the hypersonic missiles, the Hypersonic and Khurramshahr missile, all of these that neither Israel nor the United States have anything to counter them. They've overwhelmed the Iron Dome and the David Sling in the past. They could do so again, and especially in the wider West Asia region.
Absolutely, Gaurav. The kind of military equipment which is being, deployed, be it in Iran or be it in the West Asian bases of United States, definitely this poses a serious military threat or conflict situation in the region. Because if you see the strategic CM5. C-5M, the heaviest strategic lift aircraft deployed by the United States at Al Udeid base, or be it the deployment of around 50 KC-135 strategic oil tankers in the region. This clearly shows that United States is contemplating a situation of either countering the Iranian counterstrike or counter-military or missile strike. And in fact, what we are learning from sources that, there is a list of the strategic missile bases of Iran given to President Donald Trump for potential, target areas. So we have to see that whether President Donald Trump decides at a time when he is holding a Board of Peace meeting today, as we are having this conversation, there is a meeting, which is scheduled in Washington, D.C., Board of Peace. Many of these OIC countries are participating there, and many of these countries are having, a good relation with Iran, and obviously they will be concerned about any flare-up in the West Asia region.